This week's golf course under review is Lake of the Woods Golf Course, and it is in Locust Grove, Virginia. Locust Grove is just west of Fredericksburg. It is on Route 3, a little bit south of Fredericksburg, but not by much. Down there by the Gauntlet, which is on 17, so it's about, I don't know, 5 miles south of 17. It's actually about a good distance south of the Gauntlet. You have to come back down 17 to 95 and then back out 3 to get to Locust Grove. That's almost to where the Walmart is on Route 3 near, I believe it's Meadow Farms, and then there's another course out there called Rapidian. I would say probably a half mile further east before you get to those other two courses. I had never heard of Lake of the Woods before as a golf course. I was just looking on Golf Now for a decent hot deal for the weekend. Found it. It was, $35 on a Saturday at 12:30 with a cart, and went out there, tried it out. I mean, it's kind of funny. You go past the sign, and the whole area is just kind of dated. I mean, it really feels like you're in one of those, towns in Annapolis that are bordering along the water. Just really old, I would say mid 50s, 60s kind of towns. It's like that. It's just chock full of houses. I mean, it's one thing that I off the top, it is chock full of houses in this course. Now, but at the same time, I kind of had this, dream lately that, having played so many courses that are with really no houses on them lately, I knew that the next course I played would be more like a really narrow woods course, which is, I guess, what I was looking for in a way. And this course was almost exactly what I wanted in a sense. It was a tight woods course, lots of big trees. You have to hit shots into narrow sections and around trees and stuff like that. Trees overhanging a tee shot off the tee, and tees overhanging the green, things like that. That's kind of what I was looking for, and I was happy to find this course and get a hot deal. It just really worked out well, and the course itself was actually pretty good. I have to admit, it was a nice layout. It was probably not the optimal neighborhood woods course in the sense that Lake Presidential is, for example. I really think that course is really underrated. A lot of people give it a hard time because of the condition or whatever. I think that course, at least before they continue to build it up, much like Potomac Shores, where they continue to build it, continue to add, and you go, oh, the course is 3,500 houses on it. I'm like, look, that's a lot of houses for any development, and just packing houses in, and you put a golf course in the middle. But in this case, the neighborhood is old enough to where it kind of has its houses. Okay, so it's not like you're going to go back there in 6 months or a year and there's going to be a whole new section of condos looming over the 12th tee box or something like that, which you have at Potomac Shores. There's actually quite a bit of construction going on there now. So you will have on this course a lot of tee shots that are next to houses, a lot of greens where houses like encircle the area like a auditorium, amphitheater or something, and a lot of people in their backyards. In this case, because it's early, late November, a lot of leaves. And in fact, there was a course maintenance guy on the 10th tee box, literally just off the tee box with one of those mowers mulching the leaves inside the course, no more than 20 feet away from the tee box, and he's got a big giant leaf blower, and he's got a big giant mower, and he's mulching the leaves that have built up on the sides of the course. They have the fairways and the green side rough on this course are Bermuda grass. You don't see that in your usual neighborhood woods course, Bermuda grass. And that was an interesting combination because it was often very, very difficult to see balls on the grass. And it's just because when the sky was blue and clear and, very few clouds and the sun was out, it was really bright, and it's just like every leaf on the fairway, everything there just glittered. It just had all kinds of reflections and stuff. So it's hard to pick a ball out of all that. You kind of had to get close enough to it to see it, or you had to look back away from the sun. But I remember on the 10th tee box, I hit a really nice drive down the center of the fairway and couldn't find it. And man, there's little that annoys me about playing golf more than spending 5 minutes out looking for a ball that's, it's in the center of the fairway. You know it's in the fairway. You know it, and you can't find it. It just kind of makes you feel stupid. But what can you do? Otherwise, you don't play. And so that happened. But otherwise, I think for the most part, we had very little trouble actually finding the ball if it was anywhere, between the woods, between the two stands of trees. Once you went into the woods and into that coating of leaves on the ground, then things became dicey, which is fine. And I don't actually mind that. I think it's a fair assessment that you should have trouble finding balls if they go into the woods. And the sheer fact that the woods aren't that dense shouldn't necessarily be a enabler for people to play balls out of the woods. You go in the woods, you look for a while, you come see it, you drop a ball, keep going on, okay? I don't have a problem with that. What bothers me is when I can't find it in the fairway, and that's one of the problems with Bermuda grass. That is a definite problem with it. I have played on quite a few courses that have Bermuda grass, and it has always been an issue that you have to have a course. The course has to blow the leaves, pretty much off the fairway or anything like that. Otherwise, it just becomes really difficult to play. And it also helps if you have other people, you're not playing by yourself. If you have other people playing with you, then you can all look for balls like that and stuff like that. But then again, it becomes you relying on other people to find your ball. So it's all a plus and minus. It's one of the things about playing in the winter. And having said that, this course was even more of a challenge playing in the winter because, fair enough, the fairways were hard. The Bermuda grass in the fairways were not that thick. It was like a thin coating of moss. Some places it was thicker, like the rough over the bumps, it was thicker and everything, but at times it wasn't very thick, but always the ground was fairly hard and you weren't going to get a lot of divot. So if you hit the ground with your club, it was pretty much guaranteed to bounce up and you were going to top shots. It was a challenge to play this course as much because of that. And also, I think, the general lack of action that you get on a golf ball in cold weather versus warm weather. It floats all over the place, because it's warm. Whereas in the winter or cold weather, you really have to power spin to get any spin. So I think it was a challenging round, but it wasn't an exceptionally difficult round for a slope 135 course. I did respect the course quite a bit. There were some sections of the course where there were road traffic. Definitely there's a part, I think the number 16 or 17, one of the two, it's a kind of a crescent left and it runs alongside Route 3 pretty much the whole way. But there was only I think a couple of holes where there were cars in play. There was, of course, the inevitable hole where there's a neighborhood road right behind the green, there was the inevitable hole where there was a major 2-lane road running along the entire side of the hole. But other than those two holes, it was actually a pretty quiet course. Considering that there were a lot of leaves out, probably every other hole there was somebody with the leaf blower, that there were kids out running around, for the most part pretty quiet, people in their backyards on occasion, mostly quiet, for the most part. Some car traffic. I mean, it was a neighborhood golf course, and it wasn't like some quiet, really upscale neighborhood where you have these people with these giant houses making almost no noise in them. It was not like that at all. Yet at the same time, it wasn't obnoxious. It wasn't that bad. And the course was definitely challenging enough to be a distraction. I thought it was a really good layout. I definitely enjoyed playing the course. Now, the greens were decently fast. They were nice enough. Certainly, they were not any kind of funky grass, more like your, I would say, kind of, I don't know, they were nice enough greens. Nothing unusual, nothing really special, but they were well enough done that despite the fact that it was winter and there were the occasional cracks and stuff in the greens, there are definitely spots where they, had sort of ridges or lines, or somebody had run the mower too low. I mean, they weren't in awesome shape, but they were still playable, and they were all decently sloped with good action, some multi-tiered, a lot of uphill sloping greens, a lot of fairways that slope, left to right, a lot of verticality. It was a good course. I mean, I would be definitely happy to play this course again. It was a nice course. The only real problem I had with that round was the players ahead of me were slow, and we while I was playing with another guy on the front nine, he was walking, thank God, and luckily, we were just chatting away and having a good time talking, and it wasn't so bad. It was a nice course. They had a nice clubhouse. It was modest but nice. It was certainly old but nice. Not too old. I mean, again, this 50s, 60s, 70s kind of construction. Nice hot dogs, really nice people working at the concession inside the clubhouse and working behind the cash register and so forth. It was a nice place. It was unfortunately not in August or September, where the leaves would have been out and been really nice, where the grass might have been green in the middle of the fairways and around the bumps and stuff around the greens. It would have been really nice. I think I caught this course slightly off its peak, but it still was good. And considering all of that, I'm going to give it a B+. I would say this is one of the better neighborhood courses that I've played. It is a neighborhood course, and yes, it's missing a wheel for that reason. There's no question. But if you're going to play a neighborhood course, this is the kind of neighborhood course I would want to play. As a matter of fact, I might even want it to be a little bit tighter in spots, because it was, I don't know, right on the edge. Okay, not quite too tight, not quite not tight enough, just right kind of there in that sweet spot where it was a good challenge, but not too much of a course to be really enjoying it and playing it. Now, the next course I have in mind, if I actually do go out and play, if I can catch the weather in the right date, the next course I have in mind is another neighborhood course, and it is an even higher slope, and I'm going to see if it's better. This is supposed to be at a really upscale neighborhood, and I'm going to see if it's even better and whether it's worth the extra cost. It's going to be significantly more than the course I played. And I paid, like I said, about $40 after taxes through Golf Now to get this course with a tee time at 12:30. So that's 15 minutes, and no course that I can think of so far deserves more than 15 minutes of fame. So I will say this and wrap it up. It is a B+ course. It is a nice course for a neighborhood wood course. That is Lake of the Woods Golf Course in Locust Grove, Virginia, which is just west of 95, about a 15-minute drive west of 95 on Route 3, just south of Fredericksburg, Virginia. Definitely enjoyed the round.